one thing we kind of discussed up here, and I actually talked to a few people out here, is probably the parents and the families that are here, you can probably go home. Because send the ones that really need to be in here, here. But there's one thing I also want to say with that too. I think I'm a pretty decent parent. I have a 21-year-old that's up at UW Milwaukee. And as often as I checked on him, unfortunately for him, his mother and I got divorced when he was about 7. And we shared him, and he went back to 2 different places. And he was very accustomed to the fact that whenever he was with me, he would always, when he was going someplace, he'd always give his cell phone to the parents that were there, and to make sure we knew where he was. There was one thing that I learned, because as I talked to the parents, I asked them, are you going to be home to supervise this? And they said, yes, we're going to be home. There's one set of parents that I did not ask the right question. They're going to make sure they're not going to drink. What I found out a year and a half later was they were there, they were supervising the kids drinking. So that is a problem. And even though I think my son still, he got excellent grades here, in sports, he did very good. 5 years ago, we had I kind of put a crackdown on Country Thunder, and I said, enough is enough. We're going to be out here. We turned the Wild West out there, and it's a more civilized event. My son knew we had 60 officers out there any day. My 17-year-old son got an underage drinking ticket, and his dad found out within 30 seconds after he was issued a ticket. He didn't call me for 30 minutes. So he was in some big trouble. He paid the ticket. Dad didn't bail him out. And he learned a pretty important lesson. I don't know if it completely cured him, but it is a concern. As any parent who's here, where they're, and I don't think they're bad parents, there are some that have a more difficult time, I think, with parenting. But I think all of our hearts are in the right place. So even if you consider yourself a really good parent, and you have really good kids, you have to watch them. And it isn't because, and I tell them when we go to their graduation, it's not because we don't love you, it's because we do. And so remember that whenever you're bugging them, and ask that question, are you going to supervise them? Are you going to make sure there's no alcohol? And learn that the hard way. So if you have any questions for me real fast, I'd be happy to answer them. But we've got a lot of experts. I've got Ken Krenz here, your school resource officer, and also the chief deputy, and they're going to be introducing themselves, answering your questions. I don't think I really need to answer anything for you. But if there's anything I can ever do for you, even though I've got a split now, please don't hesitate to call. Most of you I know, and I enjoy coming out here and seeing this group. So thank you. Thank you, and have a wonderful night. And